Welcome to the Clinical Trial Readiness Audit video series. I'm Josh Argall, Vice President of Engagement and Operations at Patient Advocacy Strategies, where we help sponsors design studies that are clearer, more accessible, and easier for families to say yes to. In this series, we'll walk through how readiness shapes recruitment, retention, and the overall participant experience, and why some small early adjustments can dramatically improve study outcomes. Here's what we'll cover today. We'll start with why readiness matters, then walk through what the audit evaluates, who it's designed for, what sponsors gain, and finally, how the audit process works. We'll close with key takeaways and the immediate next steps. Let's begin with why readiness matters and why it's the foundation of predictable, patient-centered studies. An issue that seems small during planning, like unclear visit expectations or a confusing consent section, becomes a major delay once sites start screening. When we surface these risks early, teams can make simple adjustments before they turn into costly protocol amendments or inconvenient enrollment disruptions. When families understand the entirety of what the study entails and feel the materials speak to them, they're far more likely to say yes. We consistently observe that when expectations are managed clearly and study burden is acknowledged, enrollment accelerates with fewer screen failures and reduced overall friction. Sometimes it's not a substantial redesign. It's modified language, a clarified step with clearer context, or a more accessible or simplified explanation. Those small modifications will dramatically reduce site confusion, participant concern, and early drop-off, which streamlines operations across the entire study continuum. When a clinical trial path isn't clear, families hesitate. When the burden is too high, they drop out. And when operational details are vague, sites struggle. Readiness isn't a nice to have. It's the difference between a predictable study and one that constantly needs to be reactively rescued. Next, let's look at what the Clinical Trial Readiness Audit evaluates. This is a structured review across patient, operational, and accessibility lenses. Across the audit, we look at 5 core areas that directly shape a family's experience with the study. We start with materials and make sure everything a family sees, from the website to the consent form to the outreach messages, are clear, accessible, and easy to understand. Then we look at the landscape to understand the advocacy environment, the trusted voices, and the communication channels families rely on. From there, we identify barriers, the emotional, logistical, cultural, and informational friction points that could prevent someone from enrolling or staying engaged. We assess recruitment by reviewing how well the messaging, channels, and outreach strategies resonate with real patient motivation and needs. And finally, we evaluate retention, focusing on burden, expectations, and support structures to understand what helps families stay engaged throughout the entire study journey. Together, these 5 areas give sponsors a clear, patient-centered view of what's working, what's missing, and where small changes can have a major operational impact. The audit is designed for teams responsible for designing and delivering a positive participant experience. This audit supports any team that influences how a study is understood, experienced, or operationalized. Whether you're in ClinOps, Med Affairs, patient advocacy, or recruitment and feasibility, the audit gives you a clear, more aligned starting point for building a patient-centered study. Each of these groups benefits from the audit in a different but connected way. For ClinOps, the audit gives them early clarity on feasibility risks and patient burden issues that can slow a study down later. For Med Affairs teams, it provides patient-validated insights that strengthen protocol decisions and highlight where scientific intent and real-world experience may not fully align. For patient advocacy, it helps ensure the study reflects community needs and expectations, making collaboration smoother and more authentic. For recruitment and feasibility teams, it offers clear guidance on how to communicate with families in a way that builds trust, reduces confusion, and improves enrollment efficiency. Together, these perspectives create a shared understanding of what families need and where small changes can have a major impact on study success. So, what do sponsors actually gain from a readiness audit? In short, practical improvements that strengthen recruitment and retention. Sponsors walk away with a roadmap for a smoother, more predictable study. Instead of guessing what patients need, teams gain patient-validated insights. Instead of late-stage fixes, they can make early, low-cost adjustments. Instead of high burden and low clarity, they gain materials and workflows that support families. And instead of siloed decision-making, they gain alignment across teams. Now let's walk through how the audit works. The process is simple, collaborative, and highly actionable. We begin with an independent review of your study materials, outreach, and participant experience, free from internal bias and grounded in real-world patient expectations. Next, we evaluate every touchpoint through the eyes of patients and caregivers, focusing on clarity, burden, emotional resonance, and the practical realities families face. From there, we provide clear, prioritized guidance on what to adjust, refine, or rebuild, with a focus on changes that immediately strengthen recruitment and reduce friction. And finally, you receive a step-by-step roadmap outlining the highest impact improvements, organized by effort and value, so your team knows exactly where to start. As we wrap up, here are the key takeaways and the immediate path forward. Trials succeed or struggle long before recruitment begins. Readiness ensures families understand, trust, and can act on trial information. A patient-centered evaluation reveals gaps internal teams often miss, especially around clarity, accessibility, cultural fit, and real-world usability. Early preparation reduces risk, accelerates timelines, and strengthens recruitment and retention. If you'd like to reduce risk and improve feasibility, please reach out to PAS at any time to schedule a clinical trial readiness audit. We can be reached at solutions@patientadvocacystrategies.com. Thank you for joining me for this introduction and for your commitment to patient-centered clinical trial design. In the next video, we'll dive into the first section of the audit, clarity and comprehension. If you're building a study and want to make sure families understand it the first time they read it, you won't want to miss that one. To follow the 10-part series, please subscribe. Thank you.